Oh,
Yeah, we'll turn
I got it.
you got it. Thank you. I never remember these. They don't want to hear my voice. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. You have received the minutes of the previous meeting via email. Were there any additions or corrections?
No.
Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adopt the minutes as email.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and second to adopt the minutes of the previous meeting as emailed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Then there's the motion. We need a motion to make the matter of record the proof of publication. I put down there, everyone.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Want to pass it on? Motion been made and second to make the proof of publication.
No, he did.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we have one issue before us this evening, a petition from the Decatur Redevelopment Commission coming forth to the Plan Commission approval of a declaratory resolution adopted by the Redevelopment Commission to expand the TIF allocation area to include residential TIF areas covering newly annexed area land within the meadows of Cross Creek and Lake Shores neighborhoods. And we'll let Jeremy, you want to come forth and make your presentation?
Hi, I'm Jeremy Creek. I'm the president of the Decatur Redevelopment Commission. We're here before you tonight just to ask that we create a new TIF area to better the housing here in Decatur. So basically what happens is all of this ground currently is being taxed as bare ground, and it's going to be developed and put new homes on. And as that development takes place, the tax revenues from that property would then come to the Redevelopment Commission. And we're going to use that to further residential development here in Decatur. So
This would be a portion of the tax for a 20-year window.
correct.
So currently, the Redevelopment Commission oversees our existing TIF district or tax increment financing allocation areas, and those cover commercial properties. And the purpose of development of the residential tax increment financing allocation is to capture increased assessed valuation of the property taxes off of the increased assessed valuation for the allocated, and those cover the newly annexed areas out by Lake Shores and then out the new section out at the golf course. And Redevelopment Commission would be charged with overseeing how those funds are allocated for improvements related to housing purposes. So they can be used for a really wide assortment of purposes, so long as they can be directly tied towards housing improvements or increasing availability of residential development within the community. So this doesn't affect anyone's property taxes. It doesn't affect or increase any of those revenues. It just earmarks that for that type of use, and Redevelopment Commission would be asking Plan Commission, as the group that is primarily charged with determining how land is developed within the community, to give its blessing to expand its current TIF allocation area to include these new sections for the purposes of the housing improvements, or for uses for housing improvements. So they have a resolution for the Plan Commission's consideration that would include a reference to the declaratory resolution that Redevelopment Commission passed earlier this month that would expand its current allocation area to include those two new areas.
Any questions from commission members?
Why wasn't this done before? Is there?
Well, one, the Lake Shores area, like one residential TIF is fairly new. So it was only permitted by statute in the last 2 or 3 years. For Decatur, this is one of the first opportunities that we've had to really capture areas at a fairly low assessed valuation at pre-development state. And so we're trying to take advantage as early as we can in this process.
Sure.
Because that goes into the 20-year envelope.
Right.
You want to get it when it's low and then let it take its course.
Does that take money away from the city then at some point? I mean, I understand it's going to the
Some of the
redevelopment.
other taxing districts, like the library, will get some less. I think the library was the hardest hit, and it's just from library cards purchases. Is it? Am I saying this right? Instead of that money going to the library, the funds are redistributed to the redevelopment commission for the housing.
Right. It has more, it does not take away money from the city, since redevelopment commission is essentially a department of the city. It specifically earmarks revenues for a specific purpose, but it can be used from anything like infrastructure improvements, so utility line, or
Right,
I don't know.
I understand that they're the department of the city, but it's almost like you're taking from city funds.
So
To redevelopment
property
funds.
taxes, and that's for fire, school, police, and then
Only the additional amount,
distribute
right?
it to the
Whatever's there now, they
redevelopment
still keep.
commission.
Right.
So you have more flexibility with that, and you can use it, for the housing infrastructure. Even so much as parks, I believe. I mean, something other than what exclusively property taxes are used for.
Yeah, the idea would be that we would use this money or these funds, instead of taking it away from the city, we're using it as an investment in further residential development that would gain more money in the future. That's the whole reason for it really, is that you can take these funds and use them to your advantage to
Investment, right.
invest
You can-
in the future.
Promote residential development.
And it can be used to remove blighted areas and repurpose them for residential use, which would enhance and increase
Right.
additional
I
property
just
tax
checked about-
revenue.
Our intent would be for it to generate, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but our intent would be for it to generate more funds in the future for the city.
And then those funds are allocated, or the proposals come from the redevelopment commission, correct? For the where those funds go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I believe they're approved through council after
Right.
they set their budget. I mean,
I mean,
I get it, but
yeah.
it's just, I guess you don't have as many rules to follow, basically, as you're putting in it.
Bureaucracy at its finest.
They, and redevelopment commission's rules are changing. So one, council is going to be reviewing their budget tonight. And so they have to allocate for capital improvement projects. They have to specifically allocate how they're utilizing their current resources. And then by the end of the year, redevelopment commission also has to file, and this is new for this year, an itemized spending plan with the Department of Local Government Finance, and that has to also be approved by council. So every dollar that comes in or goes out of the redevelopment commission's funds really does have oversight by the city anyway.
Right.
So it is just a function of the city.
So is there a certain percentage that comes from the tax revenue goes to the TIF?
So as this TIF allocation area is created, you're going to take a snapshot of what the assessed valuation of the current property values are and what their assessed valuation is. And then as that is developed and those assessed valuations increase, the difference between that baseline value and the improved valuation is the amount of property tax revenue that redevelopment commission would would capture. So the original baseline value still comes into, would still be collected and placed and utilized by the city in its general fund. But
Okay.
That's a significant amount of money when you look at least I know where the Meadows is at or whatever. I mean, that was
It would be-
agricultural, right?
it's agricultural and it's bare ground, so that's a fairly low baseline assessed valuation. When you develop that and plan it, if it's planned and carried out in its current state, Plan Commission has seen an initial site plan for about 33 lots. Lake Shores has anywhere from 63 to 65 lots. Those are all, going to be assessed at their baseline value in the pre-development stage, and then, hopefully over the next 5 years, that's about 100 properties that are going to generate a significant, at least a pretty sizable amount of property tax revenue. And then all of that can be captured and recycled into further development and use.
Then back to you, Tyler, as far as the city is concerned, the redevelopment commission could be used as a resource for funding, a portion of a city project. You could come.
Right, which they have done. I understand that. It's just you're not gonna. Yeah, you're putting it in one pot, but then the other pot is not growing for the next 20 years because you got the TIF district or redevelopment commission is capturing all the taxes from that increase.
For that small allocation area. But
Right.
Then,
But
unless
so
they would
then,
amend or expand their area to encompass improvements in other areas where their investments have been, then the city is reaping the benefit of those increased property tax revenues.
or they've been, what they've increased somewhere else with those funds.
Well, I mean, say you have a blighted area right now that has a fairly low assessed valuation that redevelopment commission takes on as a project to either redevelop or remove that blighted area and incentivize a developer to come in and create a new housing neighborhood or new development or make improvements that bump up that area. That's not in redevelopment commission's TIF
Right.
district. So any increase in assessed valuation there is going to be received, that benefit is going to be received by the city.
Then hope that benefit is greater than 100 lots. Like,
But
theory.
in time, that benefit, the idea is that benefit is going to multiply and that the revenues earned from this small allocation area generate a significant and exponential amount of growth in terms of assessed valuations because you're utilizing those resources to grow and expand other areas. That's the idea.
Incentivize developers to come here and want to do business, want to help us build and grow. And because the city would, a lot of times your hands are tied on what you can do.
I get that point of it. I understand that point of it. It's just,
And with the idea of I guess where my head's going anyways, there are 100, just for simplicity's sake, 100 $1,000 homes, blighted at homes in an area or around Decatur in the city limits. If you were to allocate this money, remove those homes, someone builds back a home that's $200,000, you've raised the value of the property tax, I mean, everything, that's the city benefit, correct? And this money is used for something like that over the next 20 years.
Well, it's 20 years once the funds are used for debt service. So if it's bonded, if it is a major capital improvement project, once those revenues are tied in with the debt service, that starts the 20-year clock for expiration of that portion of the TIF allocation area. So the residential TIF has a shorter sunset period than the commercial allocation areas do. That would be 25 years.
Any further questions? We'll ask if there's anyone who wishes to speak in opposition. Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none. Any further questions or comments from the commission members? If not, I would entertain a motion to introduce Plan Commission Order Number 2024-1 by short title only. I'm assuming that's the right title. It is. We've not had any before. Do I hear a motion to introduce it by short title only?
I'll make the motion.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second to introduce Plan Commission Order Number 2024-1. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, City Attorney will read it for us, please, by short title.
Okay. Plan Commission Order Number 2024-1, Order of the City of Decatur Plan Commission approving amendments to the Declaratory Resolution Economic Development Plan for the Decatur Economic Redevelopment Area. For the Decatur Economic Development Area.
Okay. With that, I now would entertain a motion to adopt Plan Commission Order Number 2024-1.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and second to adopt Plan Commission Order Number 2024-1. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, and that's all we need to do there, right?
You'll sign.
Okay, for signing, yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, is there any old business that we need to bring before the group? Any new business? If not, anything from the commission members? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Motion been made, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.